Okay, so now we are going to understand that how exactly machine learning is going to help us in the real life. Now, most of the time when I try to understand any concept, I always say this thing that you will be able to understand a concept with crystal clear clarity only when you are going to either performing it practically, maybe you're going to perform some hands-on lab and then you're going to do it by yourself. That's something which is first thing. And the second thing is when you see the real-time scenario or real-time use case of that particular topic. In one of these things, when you do these things, then only you'll be able to understand that properly. Now, so far we understood what exactly machine learning is doing it for us. But now let's understand some scenarios of machine learning so that you can understand that how exactly the data is going to be utilized by your machine learning algorithms and then where exactly you can apply that. In order to do this, I am on this particular web page, which is focusing on exploring machine learning scenarios. Remember, these are official scenarios of this particular course. So you can just see this particular link here. I will zoom in for you. You can just see this link and this is going to give you the machine learning scenarios actually. So you can just pause this video, check this particular URL, and if you hit this URL, then it's going to show you the same page. Okay. Yeah, there are chances that Microsoft is going to change this link or something happens with that also. It's possible. And that's the reason we are recording this video so that you can understand the scenarios in this video as well. Now, let's focus on the first scenario in which we are going to focus on generating predictions for apartment rental. Okay, this scenario is saying that let's say you own an apartment in the thriving town of Detaville. Now, this is a dummy town name, and just assume that you own an apartment there, but you're not sure that how much rental income you can generate from that house. So you decided that you want to rent out the apartment, and you need to determine an appropriate monthly rental amount that you can charge the tenant. Basically, you want to figure out that. Rent prices are based on a variety of factors, and we all know this thing that is related to the property and its location. Some social economic metrics can also be there. So you're going to use a property website that includes machine learning powered app to help you to determine the right rental amount. Remember, the final label which we are trying to predict is a rental amount. And rental amount means it's going to be a number. And if it's a number, which algorithm we are going to use in this, that's something which I want you to predict. Let's hope that you will be able to guess the right answer. So I'm just switching to that particular application right now. This is Home Rental Estimator. You can use this link to get that particular application. This looks like this. Now, ultimately, it's a very limited kind of a scenario and very limited application, but it works very well. It is giving you some dummy postal codes here. It depends upon the area actually. So let's say I'm choosing one of the area which is 23456. I'm going to specify the property size in square feet. Let's say I have a 3000 square feet home, which is maybe having number of bedrooms will be 4. It's a 4-bedroom hall kitchen kind of a 4 BHK apartment. And now I'm going to say that, okay, I want to calculate the rent. When I do this, it's showing me that as per this postal code, you have to maybe get a monthly rental of $4,262. Now, obviously, this is based on postal code as well. So if I change the postal code and if I calculate rent, there are chances that based on the postal code, these values are going to be changed with that. Now, I'm changing it and you can see slightly changing based on the postal code. And that's what I'm able to see this here. Now, obviously, if I change the number of bedrooms or if I change the price and size in the square feet, then it's going to impact a lot on that. Okay, so that's something which is basically how it's working. Now, while dealing with this particular scenario, if you see there are two buttons which are given here. There is something which is showing you the sample data, that what kind of data on which it is actually used. This is just a sample data, not the whole bunch of data, but we have provided data like address, postal code, size in the square feet, bedrooms, and the rent. And when we have this thing, this is basically providing these values as features. So remember, this is basically your X in that particular machine learning data. And then based on that, you're going to apply some algorithms on top of this data, and you will be able to correctly predict the price, which is basically a rental income or a monthly rent, which we are trying to predict here. Now, I want you to pause this video at this moment and then guess what kind of an algorithm this is going to have. Because if you understood machine learning properly, you will be able to guess that. Okay, I hope you have already guessed it. Let me show you model details here. And the moment I go into that, it's showing me that this is actually using multiple linear regression. You remember linear regression was the one which was useful when you want to predict a number, a numeric value. And the year label is actually a numeric value here. So you are providing property size, number of bedrooms, postal code, and then the model is basically going to predict that data, which is basically a label of your rent price. Now, model performance metrics are also visible here, which is basically your R square or mean absolute error, which is all mentioned here. The amount of data which they have used here is 70 records, basically 70-30 division they have done here. 70% they are using for training, 30% they are using for validation, and the total number of records are actually 100. Now, this is what they are showing you in the model details, but yeah, this is one simple scenario where you can use machine learning algorithms and you can predict the rental price. Now, if I go back to the document, there are a few more scenarios which are given here. Like there is a second scenario which is focusing on generating predictions for a wheat seed species. Now, when we talk about multi-species kind of thing, the first thing which is coming in mind is actually multi-class classification. I hope you remember just before some time in the previous video, I have explained that penguin species kind of a thing, that this penguin belongs to which species. Same way, they are trying to predict wheat seed species in this case, but let's see what algorithm they're using and how the application works. So suppose an agriculture specialist needs to identify the type of the wheat that will be grown from a seed, and then machine learning can be used to determine the most probable wheat species based on the seed measurement. So that's something which we have to do. In this case also, we are going to specify a label data. Basically, we are going to have a data collected from the past observation, and based on that, it will be allowing us to predict that particular seed. Now, let me open the application in the new browser tab. In this case, to generate a wheat species prediction, you have to set multiple properties first. That's what they are saying. So you have to choose seed length, you have to choose seed width, and you have to choose groove length in that. Now let me see the application first. And in order to change or select seed length, seed width, and groove length, they have given you a simple slider here. Okay, so that's something which you can change and you can play with that. Before we do this thing, I want you to see the sample data. And if you check the sample data, it's showing you that they have actually categorized the classes with some numbers. Now, we don't know right now what is 0, 1, and 2 means, but that's something which we'll get to know when we try to get the predicted species with that. Now, let's say if I have a 0, 0 is basically having sample training data which is having seed length 5.8, seed width is 3.4, and groove length is 5.5. So let's say I'm not changing the seed length and seed width. I'm just going to change the middle one, which is seed width. And in this, I'm going to change it to 3.4. Let's say I'm changing it to somewhere around 3.4. And then if I predict the wheat species, this is saying this is a Kama wheat. And that's something which is giving me that this is going to be a species probability is actually Kama wheat. There are other wheats also like Rosa wheat and Canadian wheat. Now again, I'm not very expert of wheat species actually, and I think neither you as well. But this is showing you that there are 74% chances are there that that belongs to Kama wheat. And same way, if I increase the seed width, and then if I try to predict this thing, then also it's saying now there are 50% chances that it's a Kama wheat. So basically, I have to change the sample data and I have to focus on that. Suppose if the groove length is going to increase to 6, which is visible here, seed width is 3.7, but seed length and groove length is increasing. So let's do that. This is reducing to 3.7, 3.8, but this is increasing to 6 almost. Let's say this is 605, and this is something which is 604, yeah, 6.2. If we have this kind of thing, if I try to predict the wheat species, it's saying this is Rosa wheat, and there are 86% chances this is Rosa wheat. Now, obviously, this works based on the data. Again, I want to pause the video and I want you to guess which uh, algorithm, which kind of a machine learning technique they have used in this. Of course, I started with this, that this is actually having something like multi-class classification. It is trying to do the classification, but ultimately the class is also nothing but a number. What do you think? Is this using a classification algorithm or is using some regression algorithm? Well, the answer is when I click on model details, it's showing me they're using logistic regression. So in this also they're using logistic regression. The training data set which they have used totally is 147 rows. Validation data is 63. Again, that maybe 60-40 kind of ratio is what they have used, or 70-30 kind of ratio. Yeah, it is 70-30. And then 210 rows is the total size of the data set. You are also getting the confusion metrics, which is visible here, and the other performance metrics like F1 score, precision score, recall, and you can see all of them are above 95%, which is very good actually. And that means this logistic regression algorithm is perfectly able to classify and identify the seed is belongs to which particular species of the wheat. Now let's go back to the same page, and we have a third case study scenario as well, which is saying that the segment customers based on the spending pattern. Now, in this case, suppose you have a retail business and you want to group customers into multiple segments for marketing purpose based on their spending patterns. And this is something which almost every e-commerce website do nowadays. We have a very basic application which is available here, which is trying to do the segmentation with this. And what we're going to do is we are going to upload some data into this. So let me show you the application first. I'm going to click on upload data, and there is one particular CSV file which is available here with some kind of a customer data available in this. I'll select this and I'm going to click on open. When I do this, I got some customer data, which is, you can see approximately 40 customers are here. And with each customer, we have a name of the customer, average spend, and average frequency of spend, which is both, which is mentioned here. Now, what I'm going to do is we have this kind of a data, but you can see right now we do not have any label here. So what type of customer is this? We do not have any label associated with this. And mostly when we do not have any label associated with your data, what do? You do some kind of a unsupervised machine learning with that, as per the learning which we have done. So this is basically going to use a clustering algorithm, which is going to group the customers in some segregations first. And then maybe once we get the segregations, we know that this group of customers are maybe those who spend more, or who maybe have a average frequency higher than the other customers actually. In order to do this thing, we will click on analyze button. It's going to analyze this 40 records. It's showing you some value of K, because in this they are actually using K means clustering kind of an algorithm with this. So you can see it's showing me the fill out score. The K equals to 3, K equals to 4, K equals to 5 is what they are trying to analyze inside this. And at the end of this process, I get to know this thing that they have actually created 4 clusters. Basically, I have 4 types of customers here. The segmentation is happening with 4 different segments. The cluster 0, which is the first cluster, is having 10 customers. Cluster 1 is also having 10. 2 is also having 10, and 3 is also having. So each one is having 10, 10, 10 inside that, based on the sellout which is selected here. And it's also showing me the diagram, which is showing me the average frequency and average spend which a customer has done. Based on that, they have segregated and they have created 4 different groups. Now, I hope you understand clustering creates groups. Like when I was explaining the previous module, I told you that there's something like plant-based segregation. So you want to group similar kind of plants based on the similarities and all this thing. Same way, this is doing a customer segmentation, which is basically creating initial 4 groups or 4 segments of the customer types actually. And then maybe you can apply different marketing rules for one group of customers, but not with the other group of customers because they are not spending that much maybe. So that's something which you can do with this. I hope you understood these 3 different scenarios. In each one, we are using different machine learning algorithm. Depends upon that, and depends upon the amount of data and type of data which you're adding into this. You have to understand that how your machine learning is going to help you in that. So that's what I have explained in this. I hope you understood machine learning scenarios. And if yes, let's move forward and understand in the next video, where we will see that how exactly we can build our own machine learning logic with our own data in Azure Machine Learning.